All right, graphs of functions. We can use graphs of functions to visualize what the function does and all the points on the function. For example, y equals x squared on the interval -2 to 2. So whenever we're graphing this, we're only going back to -2. We don't go back any further. And we only go up to +2 and don't go any further than that. So if I plug -2 into this equation, what would that give us? Good, it's 4. Nice job, Y. What if I plug a -1 in? Good, see, it's a +1. What if I plug a 0 in? Yep. And then 1 and 2. Yeah. Exactly. You can't plug in 3 because that's outside of the interval. We're only looking for the interval between -2 and 2. And that is literally it for that. We're done. Everybody good with that? Oops. Evaluating a function from its graph. I'll give you time to write this down. Gaze. Yeah, if we look at the graph, the fruit fly population after 20 days is 100. And what about after 45 days? You can call that whatever we want. We can say 340. It says, what is the approximate range from 0 to 50? So what does range represent? Good. Does it represent the x's or the y's? Exactly. Range represents the y's. So if I'm looking from x going from 0 to 50, what would my y values be? They would go from 0 up to 350. So the approximate range for this value of the t's, I guess in this case, would be bracket 0, 350 bracket. Because it's all the values in between 0 and 350. Everybody good with that? Vertical line test. Not every graph is a function. We use the vertical line test to determine if a graph is a function or not. If we can't draw any vertical line to intersect a function more than once, then it is a function. Remember, vertical lines mean it's straight up and down. I purposely put mistakes in my lessons so that you can feel better about yourselves. Everybody makes mistakes. I'm a math genius, and look at me, I make mistakes. So, everyone have this? All right. If you do the vertical line test on these three, which ones would pass? So first, what's a vertical line look like? Like this? Right, straight up and down. Now here's the thing. Exactly. If it hits the line more than once, it's not a function. So this one, it hits the line in two different spots. Right, because it hits it here and here. So that would be not a function. Wow. What about this one? Right, exactly. Yes, it would be yes. Because this one, it only hits at one spot. Got him. It hits twice. It was supposed to only hit once, though. It is yes. Because I purposely hit that bottom. I'm so funny. When I quit teaching, I'm going to become a comedian. A piecewise defined function. Now, I know we had some issues with these last year. Sometimes a function is described by using different formulas on different parts of the domain. That means that for different values of x, we would use a different part of the function. So for an absolute value, I would use just x whenever x is greater than or equal to 0. And I would use negative x when x is less than or equal to 0. I'll just change that to less than 0. It's more correct. Everyone got this? All right. So basically, whenever we're looking at this, think about what an absolute value does, right? So if I put an absolute value of -5, what does the absolute value do to a -5? Good, it makes it positive. If we were to put negative 5 into this piecewise function, which one would it go into, the top equation or the bottom? Anybody else? It is going to go into the bottom. It goes into the, yeah, it goes into the bottom because negative 5 is less than 0. So since negative 5 is less than 0, yeah, then we are taking the negative of a negative 5, which is positive 5. What if I was putting a, because it's what's going in. I put a negative 5 into the absolute value. So we use these two items back here to decide which equation we use, the top or the bottom, and then we actually put it into the equation. What if I put a 4 into the absolute value? What equation would I use, top or bottom? The top, because 4 is greater than 0. So if it's the top, I just leave it the same. Absolute value of 4 is 4. So I use these to decide which equation I'm actually using. That's the whole gist of piecewise functions. Go ahead and write this down. And this is probably where we'll start tomorrow. Mondays and Wednesdays.